I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you today. How are you feeling, Sarah?
I'm feeling really good, Mike. Thank you. Actually, I'm excited because today's topic is something I'm really passionate about.
Oh, I can hear the excitement in your voice. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about something that might surprise many of our listeners: how you can become a confident English speaker without learning thousands and thousands of words.
Wait, really? That sounds almost too good to be true. Most people think you need to know so many words to speak English well.
I know, right? But here's the thing, Mike. It's not about how many words you know. It's about how well you can use the words you already have.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. And before we dive in, everyone listening, please remember to subscribe to Everyday English Academy, give us a like, and share this episode with anyone learning English.
Yes, please do. Your support helps us create more content like this. Okay, Sarah, so tell me more about this idea.
Well, let me ask you something, Mike. Have you ever met someone who says they know thousands of English words, but when you ask them a simple question like, "What did you do yesterday?" they can't answer smoothly?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've seen that many times. They freeze up, even though they studied so hard.
Exactly. And that's because knowing words and using words are two completely different skills.
That's a great point. It's like owning a toolbox full of tools but not knowing how to build anything with them.
Perfect analogy, Mike. So today, we're going to show our listeners how to build real conversations using a focused, smart approach.
I love it. So, where do we start?
Let's start with some interesting facts. Research shows that the most common 300 words in English make up about 65% of everyday conversations.
Wow, 65% from just 300 words. That's incredible.
And if you know around 1,000 common words really well, you can understand and participate in almost 90% of daily conversations.
That changes everything. So instead of trying to learn 10,000 words, we should focus deeply on these core words.
Exactly. But here's the key word, Mike: deeply. It's not just about recognizing these words, it's about truly owning them.
Owning them. What does that mean exactly?
Great question. Let me give you an example. Many students know the word get, right?
Yes, of course. It's one of the first words we learn.
But do they know how to use it in real life? Can they say, get up, get ready, get tired, get lost, get better, get along?
Ah, I see. Knowing the word get is one thing, but using it naturally in all these different ways is something else.
Exactly. When you truly own a word, you can use it automatically in many different situations without thinking.
That's brilliant. So it's about depth, not breadth.
Perfect way to say it. And you know what, Mike? This approach actually reduces stress for learners.
How so?
Well, imagine you're a student and someone tells you, you need to learn 5,000 words. How does that feel?
Overwhelming, like climbing a huge mountain with no end in sight.
But if someone says, focus on these 300 words and learn to use them well, suddenly it feels possible, manageable.
That's true. It's like the difference between looking at the whole staircase and just taking one step at a time.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about how our listeners can actually do this. Let's give them a real plan they can start today.
Yes, let's make it practical, step by step.
So, step one is choosing your core vocabulary. We're talking about the most common 500 to 1,000 words, but here's the important part. Make it personal.
Personal? What do you mean?
Well, if you're a student, you need words like homework, assignment, deadline, study. If you work in an office, you need meeting, email, deadline, project.
So we start with common words, but then add words from our own daily life.
Exactly, because you'll remember words better when they're connected to your real experiences.
That makes so much sense. What's step 2?
Step 2 is never ever learn a word alone. Always learn words in context, in real sentences.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Instead of just writing, arrive means to reach a place, write a full sentence like, I usually arrive at work at 9 a.m.
That's so much more useful. You're learning the word and how to use it at the same time.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip. Say the sentence out loud, maybe even record yourself.
Recording yourself. That sounds a little scary for some people.
I know, but it's so helpful. When you listen back, you can hear your progress. You can catch mistakes and you build confidence.
That's true. It's like being your own teacher.
Exactly. Okay, so step 3 is connecting new words to words you already know.
How does that work?
Let me show you. Imagine you already know these words. Go, work, early, because, traffic.
Okay, those are all simple words.
Now you can combine them. I go to work early because of traffic.
Nice. That's a complete useful sentence.
And the next day, maybe you learn train and ticket. Now you can say, I go to work early because the train ticket is cheaper before 8 a.m.
Wow, look at that. Your vocabulary is growing, but you're building on what you already know.
Yes, it's like adding blocks to a building. Each new word connects to the structure you already have.
I really like this approach, Sarah. It feels natural, not forced.
That's the whole point. Language learning should feel natural. Okay, let's talk about step 4.
I'm ready. What's step 4?
Once a week, tell a small story about your life using only your core words.
A story about my life?
Yes, it can be very simple. For example, yesterday I went to the supermarket. I bought fruit, bread, and milk. I walked home and cooked dinner with my family. It was a nice evening.
That's perfect. It's just describing a normal day, but in English.
Exactly. And you know what the beautiful thing is, Mike? That story uses maybe 30 words, but they're real, useful, common words.
And the person is talking about their actual life, so it's meaningful to them.
Yes, when learning is connected to your real life, your brain remembers it better.
That's so true. Okay, I have a question though.
Go ahead.
What if someone feels embarrassed about their English? They might think my sentences are too simple, or native speakers use bigger words.
That's such an important question, Mike. And here's what I tell my students. Simple sentences are powerful sentences.
Really?
Absolutely. Think about how native speakers actually talk in daily life. We don't use complicated vocabulary at the grocery store or with friends.
That's true. We say things like, how's it going? What's up? I'm tired today.
Exactly. Simple, direct, clear. So when learners use simple sentences correctly, they sound natural, not basic.
I never thought about it that way. Simple can be sophisticated when it's used well.
Yes, and let me share something else. There's a famous principle called the 80-20 rule.
Oh, I've heard of that. 80% of results come from 20% of your effort, right?
Exactly. And in English, that 20% is your core vocabulary. If you master these 300 to 1,000 most common words, you get 80% of the communication power.
So instead of spreading yourself thin trying to learn everything, you focus on what matters most.
Exactly. It's like cooking, Mike. You might have 100 spices in your kitchen, but most recipes use just salt, pepper, oil, and garlic.
The essential ingredients.
Yes, once you know how to use those well, everything you cook tastes good. Same with English.
I love these analogies, Sarah. They make everything so clear. Okay, so let's talk about practice. How often should someone practice?
Great question. I recommend a daily routine, but it doesn't have to take a long time.
How long are we talking?
Honestly, 15 to 20 minutes a day is enough if you're consistent.
Really? Just 15 minutes?
Yes, here's a simple routine. In the morning, spend 5 minutes reviewing yesterday's sentences. Say them out loud while you make breakfast or coffee.
Okay, that's easy. I'm already making coffee anyway.
Exactly. Then, during your lunch break or afternoon, spend 5 minutes listening to something in English. It could be a podcast like ours, a short video, or even a song.
And you're listening for those core words you're learning.
Yes, you'll start noticing them everywhere. It's like when you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars all over the road.
Haha. Yes, I know that feeling. What about the evening?
In the evening, spend 5 minutes telling a 1-minute story about your day. You can rate it or just say it out loud.
And use the words you're learning.
Exactly. So that's 15 minutes total spread throughout the day. No stress, no pressure.
That's so doable. I think many people fail because they try to study for 2 hours at once and then burn out.
Absolutely. Consistency beats intensity every time. Your brain learns better with short, regular practice than long, irregular sessions.
That makes sense. The brain needs time to process and store information.
Exactly. And there's actually a scientific reason for this.
Oh, tell me more. I love the science part.
When you practice a little bit every day, your brain builds what scientists call fluency pathways.
Fluency pathways. What are those?
Think of it like walking through a forest. The first time, there's no path, so it's difficult and slow.
Okay, I'm following.
But if you walk the same route every day, eventually a clear path forms. It becomes easy and automatic.
Ah, so repeated practice creates these mental pathways in your brain.
Exactly. And once the pathway is strong, you don't have to think anymore. You just speak naturally.
That's the goal, right? To stop translating in your head and just speak.
Yes, and that happens through repetition and consistency. Okay, Mike, let me ask you something.
Sure, go ahead.
When you were learning to drive a car, did you think about every single movement?
Oh, absolutely. I remember thinking, okay, press the clutch, shift the gear, check the mirror, turn the wheel.
And now?
Now, I just drive. I don't think about it at all.
That's fluency. That's what we want with English. At first, you think about every word, But with practice, it becomes automatic.
That's a perfect comparison. So language is like a skill you practice until it becomes natural.
Exactly. It's muscle memory for your mouth and brain.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about something important. What about mistakes?
Oh, mistakes are so important to discuss.
Many learners are afraid to make mistakes. They think mistakes are bad.
I know. And that fear stops so many people from speaking.
So, what do we tell them?
We tell them that mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes are your teachers.
Mistakes are teachers. I like that.
Every mistake shows you something you need to learn. When you say, I go to work yesterday, instead of, I went to work yesterday, now you know you need to practice past tense.
So, mistakes are actually helpful.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, Mike. Native speakers make mistakes too.
Really?
Oh, yes. We say, we forget words. We correct ourselves mid-sentence.
That's true. I do that all the time.
Exactly. So if native speakers aren't perfect, why should learners expect perfection from themselves?
That's a great point. Perfection is not the goal.
No, connection is the goal. If someone understands you, you succeeded.
Communication over perfection.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about something practical now. Let's give our listeners some common word combinations they can start using today.
Oh, yes, I love this part. Real, useful phrases.
So, let's start with the word make. Mike, what can you make?
I can make breakfast, make coffee, make dinner,
Good. What else?
make a mistake, make friends, make money, make time.
Perfect. See how one simple word creates so many useful phrases?
And these are things we say every day.
Exactly. Now, let's try take. What can you take?
Take a shower, take a break, take your time, take care, take responsibility.
Excellent. Now, listeners, repeat after us. I make breakfast every morning. I take a shower before work. I need to make time for exercise.
These sentences are simple but so useful.
And if you practice them every day, they become automatic. Okay, let's do one more. The word have.
Have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, have a meeting, have a conversation, have fun.
Perfect. So with just 3 words, make, take, have, you can create dozens of useful sentences.
And these are core words that appear in almost every conversation.
Exactly. This is what we mean by learning deeply, not widely.
Okay, Sarah, I want to talk about something emotional now.
Sure, let's talk about feelings.
Many people feel anxious when they learn English. They feel nervous, embarrassed, or even afraid.
That's so true, and it's completely normal.
But how can this focused approach help with those feelings?
Great question. When you focus on just 500 to 1,000 words, the task feels manageable, not overwhelming.
So instead of feeling lost in a sea of vocabulary,
you have a clear path.
Exactly. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing exactly what to do. Review 10 words, write 3 sentences, say them out loud.
That sounds calm and organized.
Yes, and when you complete that small task, you feel successful.
And success builds confidence.
Exactly. Every small win tells your brain, I can do this.
So instead of feeling bad about what you don't know, you feel good about what you're learning.
Yes, it's a complete mindset shift. You stop saying, my English is bad, and start saying, my English is improving every day.
That's powerful, Sarah.
And there's actually a scientific reason this works.
Tell me.
When you complete a small goal, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine.
Dopamine, that's the happiness chemical, right?
Exactly. It's your brain's reward system. It says, good job. That felt nice. Let's do it again.
So small successes make you want to continue.
Yes. And over time, studying English stops feeling like work and starts feeling like something you enjoy.
That's the dream, right? When learning becomes fun instead of stressful.
Absolutely. And it's completely possible with the right approach.
Okay, let's talk about real life situations now.
Yes, let's make this really practical.
Imagine I'm traveling to an English-speaking country. What core phrases do I absolutely need?
Great question. Okay, at the airport, you need, excuse me, where is, can you help me, please? I don't understand.
Those are essential.
At a hotel, I have a reservation. Can I have a room, please? What time is breakfast?
Simple and direct.
At a restaurant, I'd like, can I have, the bill, please? Thank you.
And those few phrases cover most situations.
Exactly. You don't need to know words like exquisite or delectable. You just need, this is delicious, or this tastes good.
And native speakers will understand you perfectly.
Yes, clear communication beats fancy vocabulary every time.
Okay, what about meeting new people?
For meeting people, you need, hi, my name is, nice to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been here?
Those are great conversation starters.
And then you can add, I love, I enjoy, I'm interested in.
So you can talk about your interests and hobbies.
Exactly. With maybe 50 core phrases, you can handle most social situations.
That's incredible when you think about it.
It really is. Okay, Mike, let's talk about common mistakes people make with this approach.
Oh, yes, that's important. What mistakes should people avoid?
Mistake number 1, learning lists without context.
What do you mean?
Some people just memorize lists of words without sentences. That doesn't work because you forget quickly and you don't know how to use the words.
So always learn in full sentences?
Always. Mistake number 2, not speaking enough.
Ah, the silent learner.
Yes, some people wait until they feel ready to speak, but that day never comes.
So what should they do?
Speak from day 1, even if it's just to yourself. Narrate your life in English. I'm making coffee. I'm walking to work. I'm feeling tired today.
That's brilliant. You're practicing without needing a conversation partner.
Exactly. Mistake number 3, trying to learn too much too fast.
The I'll learn 50 words today mistake.
Yes, it's much better to learn 10 words deeply than 50 words you'll forget tomorrow.
quality over quantity again.
Always. Okay, let's do something fun now.
I'm ready. What are we doing?
Let's create a sample daily routine description using only core vocabulary. I'll start. I wake up at 7 a.m.
I brush my teeth and wash my face.
I make coffee and eat breakfast.
I check my phone for messages.
I get dressed and leave home at 8 a.m.
I take the bus to work.
I arrive at work at 8:30 a.m.
I work on my computer and attend meetings.
I eat lunch at 12:30 p.m.
I finish work at 5 p.m. and go home.
I cook dinner and watch TV.
I go to bed at 10 p.m.
Perfect. That's a complete daily routine using maybe 100 words.
And every sentence is useful and natural.
Exactly. Now, listeners, your homework is to describe your own routine like this.
Yes, write it down, say it out loud, record yourself.
And do it every day for a week. You'll be amazed at how much more confident you feel.
Okay, Sarah, we need to talk about long-term results.
Yes, let's paint a picture of what's possible.
If someone follows this approach for 3 months, what will happen?
Great question. After 3 months of daily practice with core vocabulary, several things will happen.
Tell me.
First, your speaking speed will increase. You won't pause as much searching for words.
Because the words are automatic now.
Exactly. Second, your listening comprehension will improve dramatically.
Why is that?
Because when you deeply know 500 to 1,000 words, you'll catch them instantly when others speak. Your brain recognizes them without effort.
So watching movies or listening to podcasts becomes easier.
Much easier. Third, your confidence will grow.
That's the most important one.
Absolutely. When you can express your ideas clearly, even if simply, you feel proud and capable.
And that confidence makes you want to speak more.
Yes, it's a positive cycle. More practice leads to more confidence, which leads to more practice.
What about after 6 months or a year?
After 6 months to a year, most people experience what I call the fluency breakthrough.
The fluency breakthrough. What's that?
It's the moment when English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling natural.
Wow.
You start thinking in English without translating. You dream in English sometimes. You catch yourself speaking English automatically.
That sounds amazing.
It is. And the beautiful thing is, it happens gradually. One day, you just realize, hey, I'm actually speaking English fluently.
All from focusing on core vocabulary?
Yes, because you built a strong foundation. Now advanced English becomes easy because you have solid basics.
It's like building a house. Strong foundation, strong house.
Perfect analogy. Okay, Mike, I want to share one more important concept.
Please do.
It's called comprehensible input.
Comprehensible input. What does that mean?
It means listening to or reading English that is just slightly above your current level.
Not too easy, not too hard.
The Goldilocks zone. Exactly. And when you know your core 500 to 1,000 words really well, almost everything becomes comprehensible input.
Because you understand the main structure and can guess new words from context.
Yes, you might hear a new word, but because you understand the sentence around it, you can figure out the meaning.
So your vocabulary grows naturally just by listening and reading.
Exactly. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill.
It starts small, but gets bigger
and bigger.
Yes, and eventually it rolls by itself. That's when learning becomes effortless.
I love that image, the self-rolling snowball of English learning.
Okay, we're getting close to the end, but let's give our listeners a practical challenge.
Yes, let's give them something to do today.
All right, everyone listening, here's your challenge. When this episode ends, take a notebook or open your phone.
Write down 10 common English words. Pick words you use in your daily life.
For example, morning, work, eat, happy, tired, home, family, food, phone, sleep.
Now create 5 sentences using those words.
Simple sentences about your real life. For example, I wake up early every morning. I eat breakfast with my family.
Then, say those sentences out loud. Say them slowly and clearly 3 times.
You'll notice something interesting. By the 3rd time, the sentences feel easier and more natural.
That's your brain creating those fluency pathways we talked about.
Exactly. And tomorrow, add 5 more words and create 5 new sentences.
If you do this every day for 30 days, you'll have practiced 150 words in real sentences.
And those words will be yours forever. You'll own them, not just know them.
That's the difference that matters. I think we should wrap up. This has been such a great conversation.
It really has. I learned so much, and I hope our listeners did too.
Before we finish, let's summarize the key points.
Great idea. First key point, you don't need thousands of words to speak English confidently.
Second, focus on 500 to 1,000 core words and learn them deeply, not just superficially.
Third, always learn words in context, in real sentences from your life.
Fourth, practice consistently, every day, even if it's just 15 minutes.
Fifth, don't be afraid of mistakes. They're your teachers, not your enemies.
Sixth, speak from day one, even if it's just to yourself.
And seventh, trust the process. Fluency comes gradually like a snowball growing.
Perfect summary, Mike. And remember, everyone, your English journey is personal. Don't compare yourself to others.
Compare yourself to yesterday's you. Are you a little better today than yesterday?
If yes, you're succeeding.
And if not, that's okay too. Tomorrow is a new day.
Learning English is not a race. It's a journey. Enjoy each step.
We hope this episode gave you hope, confidence, and practical tools.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Everyday English Academy, give us a like, and share this with someone learning English.
And leave a comment below. Tell us one sentence about your day in English. We'll read all your comments.
Yes, we love hearing from you. Your progress is our motivation.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode, everyone.
Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep growing every single day.
Until next time, stay curious, stay positive, and remember,
You don't need perfect English. You just need clear, confident communication.
see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye for now.